Do Onyx Crowmen obey the CAW of duty in patch 8.0? Well, you know, CAW, call, it's not all that far apart. Yeah. Onyx Crowmen are highly mobile nightmares for some factions, but really I mean Clan Eshin. They spot real ninja stealth more easily, not just hiding in forest. They are fast, they have magical attack to ignore ninja reflexes, and are scrappy fighters with Yin battle harmony, so their presence will instantly make your distant cavalry fight harder. They exist to create and exploit mismatches, so there are some evil applications. Recruited for 700 gold and 175 upkeep, the Crowmen come on ultra scale, with 60 entities or that of a Reichsguard cavalry unit, in a game where Furies were bumped up to 60 entities themselves. Health of 5,220 unit wide means 87 per bird, which isn't that flimsy avian for avian. Armor is only 15, but we didn't expect much. The unit has physical resistance of 20%, so in that sense, they're sky ninjas. Well, more like elemental beings, but whatever. Leadership of 50 means a shaky lifeline if the battle is turning against them, but we'll get back to that later. Speed 90 is already good, charge speed 120 is very strong. This will be lower when on the ground, but still. Melee attack begins at 30, but each blow is magical attack. 32 is the swordsman average, so this isn't bad at all objectively. Attack interval 4 seconds, between animations, no splash damage whatsoever, not at this entity count. Melee defense of 32 means that in pitched melee, they avoid hits, removing the need to check against armor, physical resistance, and HP, just as well as an Empire swordsman would. Weapon strength 45 is split base 30 and armor piercing 15. On the one hand, that's not a lot, that's less than 100 entity source warriors. On the other hand, AP 15 is kind of high, and base 30 with magical attack is ferocious against rat ninjas or daemonettes. Charge bonus is only 20, and mass is 200, an unusually high amount for this type of unit, I think. As an elemental unit, it's immune to fear and terror. The unit has Vanguard deployment and will disintegrate when routing like a demonic unit. Eyes of the Empress passive increases spotting range of things it wouldn't otherwise spot, plus 80%. The Ogre Ninja cosplayers using a concealment bomb would count. Battle Harmony Yin obviously ignores reload skill because there's no ranged weapon here, but when triggered, a minimum of leadership plus 4 and speed plus 4% is given to the unit, a maximum of plus 8 and plus 8%. Given it's a fast unit generally, and needs leadership to resist disintegration, these are good things and not at all trivial. Of course, we've gone over their big stat benefits for Yang units, otherwise not getting the buffs. Let's go over the Empress Crowmen, the Regiment of Renown, and one of the first available for the entire faction. Recruited for 1000 gold and 250 upkeep or standard hero level. Leadership 60 at its rank 9 state, melee attack 38, and magical attack. Melee defense 41, which is impressive enough, again, because it's rank 9. Charge bonus of 40 rather than 20, which is a huge help to cycle charging potential, and same mass. The only real wrinkle is a bombardment ability called Nangao Grenades. The only stats I have are in-game. 2 uses, 60-second cooldown, 10-meter radius, most of the damage is going to be explosive damage, 45 points, 24 of which is armor piercing. It can only use this bombardment while flying. The direct damage is from a direct hit. So what's the catch? This is 1 bomb per Crowmen, and it is distributed over the course of a 10-second bombing run. So you have 60 entities at max, each dropping 1 bomb, staggering it over 10 seconds, as the unit is in flight moving over an enemy formation. So this has some potential. In the Redline skills, Sky Fires obviously applies to the Air Force, but this isn't a missile unit, so what gives? Well, 3 pips give speed plus 15% and weapon strength plus 12%. These are meaningful boosts. At rank 7 and up, or the RR, Looming Lanterns gives leadership plus 6 and missile resistance plus 15%. Very helpful. In the tech tree, let's tread softly, this is going to be a weird one. After all, this is a Yin unit, but it is also a melee unit. Moon Reflecting gives it leadership plus 4 as a Yin unit. Defensive Formations gives leadership plus 6 to anyone as long as you're on defense, but leadership is life here, kind of literally. Yin Hex gives a general minus 10% upkeep, plus 2 recruit rank, and melee defense plus 4. Inner Speed giving vigor help and plus 20% speed is a huge help here. Drill training adds plus 10 armor, which is mathematically plus 66% on a physical resistance bearing unit, leadership plus 6 more, and melee defense plus 4 from this side of the ledger. This places all of the remaining stress on Longma bridles, but we sure got something for the wait. Speed plus 15%, and bonus versus infantry plus 5 just for existing, and missile resistance plus 10% if rank 7 and up, or the RR. This means a fully redline spec Onyx Crowmen unit with the text above can sport speed plus 50% up to plus 25% missile resistance, and it never lost the 20% physical resistance, though that only matters against mundane attacks. So, how do we use Onyx Crowmen? Crowmen are flying tar pit units first. Anything else they bring is an addition to that, and probably not more important than that. If you need a missile cavalry unit mauled, if you need a missile infantry unit pinned down for a flanking cavalry force, if you need filthy rats beaten away from your firing lines, the Crowmen can put in work. But charge bonus 20 doesn't get better for the regulars, not without extras beyond the scope of this video. We'll get to the actual cavalry, but they're getting some tech tree love in 8.0, so the 1-2 combination is actually very strong. Completely besides what they can do on the ground, picking their targets and doing a lot of good for you for short stretches. They don't need any further help to give harmony to great Longma Riders or Celestial Lions, so if you're trying to maximize your air force against harpies coming to tear your sky lanterns to pieces, this is what you have to work with. Make it count. This is a mismatch unit. It creates problems for the enemy and solves ones for you, to a point. The numbers game simply will not let them dominate regular infantry unit against unit, but cooperating with the right forces, or using multiple Crowmen, and you start clawing your way to success. They are not juggernauts in any sense, but magical attack quietly levels the playing field so they move their way up the pecking order. I also want to mention there are 2 avenues to recruit them. They can be attained at Tier 2 of the Jade Warrior building chain, and if you ever have cause to actually build the Anti-Corruption and Bad Things Under the Hood detection building, you can recruit from that building at Tier 2 as well, so it's a little bonus. I mean, the crows are good at sniffing out rodents. So, how you use them is as better bats at first. I wouldn't insult them by saying better carrion. Then, once you have their speed cranked up to levels even Isabella would be envious of, you use them as much better bats. And every gun line should live in terror of your crows. Something like Hawkland long rifles? Wow. So find those weaknesses and exploit them before the long rifles live up to their name and snipe you from halfway across the map. And then, with craftiness, cunning, and the occasional bit of magical support, you'll give your army something to crow about. Take care and have fun ruining entire playstyles!